about something called the Living Building Challenge, and I'm wondering, it seemed to be an even more kind of rigorous sustainability metric for buildings, more maybe a little bit more holistic as well, looking at the building's connection to the community, and I'm wondering if anything's happened with that. Let me give you the mic.
We have been seeing a growth and interest in the Living Building Challenge. Of course, as you said, it's a very stringent program. It's we like to call it LEED on steroids. It's an extremely intense program where the owner and the entire building team need to be extremely engaged in the process from start to finish. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to work on one yet, but we're hearing more and more of these homes being built around the country. So that I would stay tuned probably the next couple of years to really start seeing a little more movement in that direction, because as the green building movement grows, the cost of those materials goes down exponentially, so it becomes a little easier to administer that type of program.
Okay, great. We got a lot of great questions here. One for Kathy. How will Sarasota address the specialized needs of the aging population while utilizing emergency hurricane shelters, and particularly in responding to these natural disasters?
The COAD, the Community Organizations in Aid to Disasters, which is active in Sarasota County, actually has a really good model that uses neighborhood leaders to be aware of people in your neighborhood. Where, 2 out of 3 people in Florida moved here from somewhere else, and a lot of people don't know their neighbors. And so being aware of neighbors who are alone, I know that during the recent storm, I knocked on the doors of several neighbors who are in their 80s and 90s and was there for them, and made, and a lot of our other neighbors did that as well. And so I know a lot of that's being done informally. It is done a little bit more formally through the COAD, and for those of you, you should contact Sarasota County to get connected, and leaders in every neighborhood would be a great thing.
Okay, back to Drew here. Do you notice an increase in production builders offering solar PV as an option, or building houses with solar PV already included?
Yes, that has increased quite a bit over the past few years. Matter of fact, there's an entire community coming in Lakewood Ranch by Lennar that every home will have a PV system on them. So that has grown quite a bit. I know I've talked to a couple of solar installers locally, and that have been going national now, doing communities like that. And I think, that all started with a company called Solar City, who's now owned by Tesla, and that's where that whole interest has come on the production side. And so yes, you're going to see more and more communities, especially here in Florida, that are going to have solar on every home.
And what's the one called in Lakewood Ranch?
I apologize. It's
Okay.
just coming out of the ground, so I'm not sure what the name of the community is. But
You can look it up. Okay, back to Kathy. Where do your goals in the age-friendly build environment for all people parallel with blue zones?
Well, in a lot of ways, blue zones are, there's an awful lot of intersect. One of the distinctions that I saw, which is why I think it's going to be hard for a community to adapt it. Communities have adapted it. Certain number of restaurants and fooderies in the communities have to have, organic and no additives and things like that. So it's a little bit more than I think than all communities can do, but otherwise it's aligned on just about every other measure. It's basically about getting out, staying active, being socially engaged. And as you all know, you're seeing all the constant information on isolation. It's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day to be isolated as far as the impact to your health. And so it's about being socially and physically active and engaged. And there's a lot of intersect there.
Okay, great, thank you. We'll keep passing this back and forth. For Drew, what, in your opinion, is the best green building code ordinance or incentives that a city could implement to support more green building?
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Yes, in one sense, I'd love to see some type of mandatory certification program on every home, but I think currently the voluntary program seems to be working pretty well. Currently, they have mandated, or code has mandated blower door testing on every house. So we've taken the first step to ensure that homes are now being built tighter than they ever have been in the past. So I think we're in a step in the right direction. I think the next one I would love to see in place would be a mandatory HERS index, which would take that blower door test to the next step and actually put that miles per gallon rating on every home. I think it'll be better for the consumers to be able to shop homes, just like you shop cars, looking for the best mileage per gallon. Well, let's shop houses with the same direction.
Or calorie counts on the food you pick up at the supermarket. Yeah, great. Okay, one more for Kathy. Does Sarasota have any plans to make the city or county more age-friendly? I think this is specifically referring to city or county government programs, if you know of any.
You know, it's funny because we talked about this before we pursued it, and we were debating going with the city or going with the county. It's all about being inclusive, and so we felt that the county was the most inclusive because there's 390,000 residents, and that does include the municipalities and the unincorporated areas, but that does not, you know, the cities can, and you know, Venice and Longboat Key, Northport, and the city of Sarasota can also still do their own. Several of the communities nationwide are city-county combinations, and that could happen. We do have an action plan that was developed from the input of what people in this community said that was most important to them, and what we heard from people. And I encourage you to go to www.agefriendlysarasota.org and look at that, and let us know your thoughts, but also let us know what you're doing, because it's all about the role of everybody's a stakeholder. Everybody is a stakeholder in making this a better community for all of us throughout every day of our lives. And so there's a place for you, and we want to hear from you, so take a peek.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Drew and Kathy.